Good afternoon, everybody. This is the Ragnarok Ranger coming at you from the Ragnarok Theory in Wakefield, West Yorkshire, England. And this one is our regular Tuesday bunker session. And again, we're continuing. You can say this is part 3 of the beginning of the end. I'll probably wrap it up next week, but we've got an agenda for today. Everyone's got an agenda these days, haven't they? So then we're going to have a look at a few reality strikes videos, yeah, because I'm off work today. I'm off for rest of the week. Fortunately, got a good employer who's let me book some holidays at short notice, so I don't have to go on sick. My back has totally been stuffed for 3 weeks again. It's something I've struggled with for a long time, but finally I'm getting an MRI scan. So after 39 years, after being trapped in a machine, I'm finally getting a scan on my back. And let's hope that there's no real damage in there, and it is just sciatic nerve and muscle swelling, because that's the best it's going to turn out to be. Anyway, that's another story. So, quick recap. So, we've done 2 videos already. The first of all looked at non-specific grid down situations. Last week we were looking at different kinds of people and that there are, but literally the whole thing's about a societal breakdown. Okay, no matter what brings it about, would that really matter? You know, this is the question I'd be asking myself, because WROL, without rule of law, if society ever got to the stage where it was lawless and there was no one out there acting as a police kind of force, and it was literally everyone for themselves and hoping for the best if you didn't have the skills it took to survive, yeah, that is total system failure. So today, this is just what I'm going to go over, is the system. Ever since we're little, we hear about the system. Oh, is this how the system works? You have a role with the system, oh, blah, blah, blah. So the system. So what is the system? The system owns you. Okay? Even if all these people say, oh, I'm off grid, you're not off grid because you're on internet or whatever. So the system owns you, still part of that system. If you buy a recording device, right, you're part of that system, yeah, because it's all there to tempt you. Okay, so the moment your birth certificate is signed, you are owned by the state. You are given a registration number. You're no better than a piece of cattle going into a slaughterhouse. Simple as that. They've got a number as well, so it can be traced, right? So that's the first way of tracing you as a person and an individual. If you change your name, you have to do it legally. You can call yourself what you want, but it ain't going to matter. If I can't walk into signing an official document about the Ragnarok Ranger, can I? I have to use my name. So at that point, you're already owned by the system. And you think you can opt in and out of the system. You can't, really. Not while it's up and running. Because the system is a way of controlling everybody. Right? Let's make no mistake, it doesn't matter which politician it is, the really bad one we've got now, the really bad one what we had before, the really bad one we've got now, or the next really bad one what comes. It doesn't matter who they are, they're all very rich and they intend to stay that way, right? And they're no longer there to provide us with service. We're there to provide them with power, position and money and a damn good existence. Okay? Because they have got control. Right? The seats of government, the seats of monarchy, you can shout, oh, this seat's not my this, it's not my that. Yes, they are, whether you like it or not. Okay? That is the system. And it cascades down throughout society. Okay, and every part of that system is needed. If there was no crime, we'd need no police, no judges, no like criminal law solicitors. Yeah. If there's no unemployed people, we wouldn't need the unemployment service. If we had no sick people, we'd not need a sickness benefit service. So the people that were running them would then become unemployed. So then we'd have to employ new people to try and find them jobs. The system. right? Every little thing is a cog in that system, right? You don't need a drug rehabilitation worker unless you've got somebody who's drug dependent. Do you see where I'm going with that? It's not rocket science, is it? Yeah. Every little bit of the system is about control, about controlling us, about controlling a population, about trying to maintain a status quo. So the basics are: you get up, you get ready, you go to work, you earn some money so they can tax you, right? And by the end of each year, you've probably actually lost 70% of your money in taxes somewhere along the line. You come home, you go to sleep, you can't wait for the weekend. So most people get the weekend and go and have a drink because they think that's some semblance of freedom. Yeah. And it's the same as a child. You're under the control of your parents. Well, not these days, but you were, for an amount of time. Then school gets you. And school is not about learning, it's about an indoctrination. It's teaching you the things that the system requires you to know so that you will act as a responsible person within society, which means you will set an alarm clock, you will get up, you'll go to work, you'll earn some money so that they can tax you, then you will come home, and then the system. Okay, so the rule of law is there to protect that system and to protect the individuals who are implementing that system. So how does the system control us? Okay, right, so for example, you can't even go on strike anymore unless your union has got permission to go on strike on a certain period of time, to give them the opportunity to negate that by bringing in temporary workers and blah blah blah. And the strike is absolutely pointless, which is why government can now maintain. Well, they can let strikes go on forever. They couldn't at one point in time. But can you imagine if everybody got up and said, you know, I'm not on strike, I'm not sick, but I'm not going to work today? What would they do? After 3 days, the system would be in chaos. It wouldn't work, would it? Right? So you're controlled by dependency. So if you're an heroin addict, they'll give you methadone, right? They'll give you a lighter sentence or let you off if you get caught carrying illegal heroin as well, because you're a registered addict. You've been given a number. This is Joe Bloggs, registered drug addict, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that file there. Okay, you are now controlled. Right, because at any point in time they can change their mind and drag you into rehab and lock you up. But for now, as long as you're not really caught hurting someone to the point where they can't ignore it, they'll let you walk free as you would have it. So we're controlled by dependencies. Right? They don't like self-sufficient people, which is why when we talk about prepping and storing food, it's like if you look at the government idea of a little grab bag, it's not a bad idea for a couple of nights or whatever if you're having to stay in a hotel because there's been some disaster around your local area. But they always intend you being able to return back home and become part of the system again, right? So people who want to live off grid, people who want to own land, you can't just own land, can you? And you can't just own land and put a big lake on it, what you could cultivate drinking water from. There's a lot of restrictions about what you can have on your land. And guess what? If you want to keep livestock, yeah, not a couple of chicks in your back garden, but enough to sustain yourself forever, you would have to become a farm, wouldn't you? You did not let you just have the animals for yourself. You'd have to be providing into that system. So nothing is free, okay? Self-sufficiency is actually king, right? But it's almost impossible to be self-sufficient. Yeah? Because even if you decide to plant everything from seeds, you've got to buy the seeds somewhere. And these days, most people pay on a card, which controls you and costs more. Because if you've got £1, you spend £1, you get £1 worth. On a card, little bits of it are going to different little places and stuff like that, and you're not getting your pounds worth, put it that way. Yeah, it doesn't work exactly the same way, which is why they like digital currency so much. They make a lot more out of it than someone just going, there's £1 and I want what £1 can buy. This is why we need to keep money. If you give in to the system of becoming totally digital and everything being online, we still lose out in the end. Okay, so although we can preach some level of self-sufficiency, you're not going to be. And if you are after WROL, then you're in a very, very dangerous place. That's not a good place to actually end up being. But we'll go into that another time. So what happens? Like now, people don't believe in government anymore. People don't want to go to school anymore. Not everybody, and you've still got some people that do, right? But in general, the street kids out there talk their own language now. Dark means light, bad means good. You know, they have excluded themselves from the system, right? They'd rather deal drugs and go and work. They'd rather commit crime than go and work. They'd rather stabby Joe each other than join the army and go to war and stabby Joe or someone. Do you know what I mean? Right? And so, society is not working. The system is beginning to crack and break. It's under a lot of pressure. Right? And what's the one thing? Sorry, just reaching for me dark brew. The one thing that they need is our dependency on them, our belief that we need them. Right? So the harder life becomes, the bigger the benefit to the powers that be, and the more dependency we now have to show back to the system. Okay, so let's just have a look at a few things to bring this video around, that how they control us. So for a start, food and water can be rationed. Okay, they can turn our taps off, right, and put standpipes up and houses out, and you can have a bucket of water a day. They can do that. When we've had droughts, I remember in the 70s when we used to have droughts and houses out and stuff like that. And food, as we've seen, they can control food by rationing. They can put, they can just lock us down, and lock the supermarkets down, and say, right, 10 people in at a time, and you're not allowed to spend this much, you're allowed 2 of this, 2 of that. We've seen these things happen. So this isn't me dreaming and saying, oh, this could happen. It has already happened. Okay, I've seen water rationed. I've experienced water rationed. I've experienced food being rationed in that sense. Okay. Heating. Right? You can't have heating in your home without paying for it. Either via your gas or your electric bill. Even if you've got a wood burner, yeah, you're buying fuel for it, you're having it put in there, and there's more and more rules coming about what you're allowed to burn and stuff like that. So they're still controlling your human right to be warm, your human right to eat, your human right to drink water. The things that you need to survive, you need warmth, food, water, you need these things, and they control them. So you are dependent on them. Medical. They can deny medical help to you. It's like today, because of my back's in stuff order, and I've been back to the doctor, I'm finally getting my MRI scan, but that could be a month away yet. Oh, it could happen in a month when your back's naffed. Right? The prescription that I've been issued was supposed to be ready, and now it's going to be tomorrow dinner time. So I've got to stay in agony even longer till tomorrow dinner time. Yeah, before I can have the amount of drugs that they'll allow me now. Fortunately, because I have a 3-monthly prescription, my doctor the doctor sort of is one of the good, awesome doctors at our practice, and he just went, I'll just add these. Instead of being PRN, I'm just going to put them on your repeat. Except the codeine, I don't want that on repeat. It's going to be a short dose just to help with pain relief at this point in time. So they control medical in that sense, and as very freedoms. Okay, it's like you've got to have ID to even try and get a job. You've got to have an ID to get benefits, and you've got to have an ID to prove who you are, right? And if they decide to take the ultimate freedom away, he's going back into a lockdown when they say you cannot come out of your house unless you're a politician who's breaking your own rules. You cannot come out of your house, and if you do, they'll be able to find out who you are, and then you will be punished by the system. Right? The only guarantee that you've got at the moment of being warm, getting food and getting water when you need it is if you're in the services or if you're in jail, because they're required to look after these people. But out here, it's almost already everyone for themselves, isn't it? Movement, they can control movement. Lockdown, move controlled. Yeah, they can stop us getting fuel. They can put a ban on you for driving. They can stop you. They can even ban you from a public transport network if they want. They can ban you from they can ban you from this, they can ban you from that. There's ways of punishing you. You're dependent on these things and they can take them off you. Right? And finally, financial. Right? Whether you're on benefits, and yes, we've heard everyone does well on benefits, but whether you're on benefits or whether you're working, someone else is controlling that money. If they suddenly stop giving you that money, you're stuffed. Because money's king, isn't it? At this point in time, when the system's working, money is king. Whether it's pretend digital money that doesn't even exist, or whether it's paper and metal money that you can keep in your pocket and you know you've got. Yeah. Money's king. Yeah. They can take that off you. They can freeze your assets. They can take your vehicle away and crush it. Yeah. All these things are not in your control. Not much is in your control unless you start doing little things to prepare to take some semblance of control if needed. Okay. So if I'm wrong, I'm just a nutter talking to myself on camera. But I'm not wrong. We all know I'm not wrong, right? Because this stuff is obvious. It's not like I have to point it out. Anybody with a peanut for a brain could actually work out that this is sensible speech. It's real. It's happening now, and it's happened before, so we know it happens. Okay. But if I just jump back to when I say the harder life becomes, the bigger the benefit to the government. Well, why? Why would it benefit them for us to have hard life, knowing that we've lost faith in them and blah, blah, blah? Creates panic, creates fear. And if there's WROL, it creates mob rule. Right? And that, when, because you see, a law would never really break down. It's an illusion. WROL, right? Even if all policemen put down their arms and go home, still got the army, right? And once society has broke down to that point where it's back to primal instincts and people fighting on the streets, mob rule starts to take over, and then they come in and they crush you. I'm not on about filming people while they riot and loot things anymore. I'm going back to good old-fashioned in tear gas, rubber bullets if you want, CX gas. You won't know about that one. You'll instantly fall on your knees and start being sick if they use CX gas, and it is a riot control agent. It's just never been used in UK. As far as I know, it's never been used in UK, but it exists. Okay, so when they want to bring the mob down, trust me, they can. And if you think that they won't just stand in an extended line and shoot to kill policy, if they had to protect the seats of power, they would do it. Do not ever think that a few criminals with guns is going to take on the system if the system decides to actually go full force, as it could. Right? So mob rule is the easy bit for them to control. They could stamp that out in a couple of days and just crush it. But, right, they don't do that because obviously the world's watching at the moment. In them circumstances, it wouldn't really matter. The other thing it creates is panic, fear, redependence. It's a cycle of dependence. Dependence, people becoming less dependent, people thinking for themselves outside the box. The system's starting to slowly break down. WROL, fear, panic, redependent. It's that circle. We will give it you back if you all go home and behave yourself. If you don't, the other thing we might do is throw, I don't know, COVID-26 at you as a riot control agent. It's funny, but I remember one country, which was a communist country, before the massive outbreak of COVID, where all the students were rioting and refusing to go home. COVID struck, they all went home. Yeah, well. Okay, that's the end of today's discussion. You're probably glad to hear because it's over 20 minutes already. We don't pray to survive, we pray in case we survive. Survival is an instinct. Instinct is everything. Take care out there, stay safe, start prepping. Catch you on next one.